Hey, this is Dave, and today we're going to talk about our healthy hip protocol. We're going to go through the beginner version. We have an intermediate and advanced, but we're going to start off with the basics today. So the first thing we're going to start off with is our foam rolling protocol for the muscles around the hip. So I've got my foam roller, and the first thing I'm going to start off with are the glutes. So I'm going to place the foam roller down on the ground, and then from here I'm going to sit onto my right butt cheek. I'm going to place my right hand behind the foam roller, place the right ankle on top of the left knee. With my left arm, I'm going to pull the knee right up toward the chest, and I'm just going to roll around on the glute until I can feel a tender spot. Once I find that spot, I'm going to sit on it until at least the tenderness or sharpness of that spot goes down by at least 50 to 75%. Okay, make sure you breathe through this. Once that's done, we're going to go to the other side, same thing. Now it's the left ankle on top of the right knee, left hand is behind. I'm sitting on my left butt cheek. I'm just rolling through, trying to find those tender spots. Once I find them, I'm going to sit on them and wait for them to go down. All right, moving on from the glute, we're going to go on to the quad. So I'm going to turn this sideways so you can see what I'm doing. All right, I'm going to go putting the foam roller just above my knee. Okay. I'm going to kind of be in a plank position, and I'm just going to slowly roll up the quad toward the hip. The key here is to keep yourself nice and relaxed in the quad. If you have any tension in the quad, you can roll right over a spot and not even realize it. Same thing as with the glute. Find a spot, sit on it for 70 until it's gone by 75%. Move on to the next spot. And then you're going to do the same thing with the upper leg. Moving back and forth, looking for those spots. You can also adjust your angle. You can open up by rolling a little bit toward the outside, going toward the inside to get the inner part of the quadricep. All right. Once you hit all those areas, you are then going to move on to the iliotibial band, which is right on the outside of the quad. Okay. So I've got the foam roller now just above the knee, but on the outside. I'm on my forearm. It can be a little uncomfortable. You're going to do the best you can, and I'm slowly going to work my way up toward the hip, stopping along the way if I find a spot, staying on it if I can tolerate it, and waiting for it to drop down by at least 75%. If you can't tolerate the pain much longer, move on. Okay, and just keep being diligent about foam rolling on a daily basis if you can. All right. After the IT band, we're going to do the adductors. The adductors are the inner thigh. All right, so I'm going to set this down at an angle. I'm going to come in and work just above the knee on the inner thigh now. And now I'm going to start rolling up toward the hip. Same thing as with all the other spots. Once I find one, I'm going to stop, wait for it to come down, and then move on to the next spot. All right. Same thing with the other side. Starting just above the inside of the left knee, working my way up toward the middle of the hip, the groin area, stopping along the way as needed. All right, once we've done our foam rolling, we're good to go on to our mobility. All right, for the mobility, we're going to start off first with the quad. All right, so I've got a little bench here. I'm going to set up. I'm going to put my foot up here. I'm going to put my knee down. All right. If you're working out in the gym, you put your foot up on a bench. Have a pad down below you because more than likely there's not going to be a carpet or wood floor. At home, put your foot up on the sofa, knee down on the pillow. All right. I'm going to be up nice and tall. I'm going to brace my abs. I'm going to squeeze my left glute and tilt my glute underneath my hips. I get a nice strong stretch in here. I'm going to relax and I'm going to come forward. I'm going to hold it for 2 to 3 seconds and then relax. All right, same idea with the other leg. We're going to move on. We're going to go on to the hamstrings. All right, for the hamstrings, you can either put your foot up on a bench or on a step at home. I'm just going to use this right here. So I'm going to turn sideways, put my foot up on the bench. If you have something to hold on to for balance, you can certainly do that. I'm going to hinge from the hip, back nice and flat. Go out until I feel a little stretch in my hamstrings. Hold that for 2, 3, come back out. Hinge forward, a little stretch in the hamstring, 2, 3, come back out. Same thing on the other leg. All right. And then for that, then we're going to move on to the adductors. So that was the hamstring. All right, the mobility for the adductors, we're going to get down on all fours. I'm going to take the leg straight out to my side. All right, and then from here, I'm going to slowly, keeping my back flat, I'm going to sit back toward my heel. I'm going to let my toe come up a little bit. I don't know if you can see it's rotating up. Getting a good stretch in the inner thigh. And then walk all the way forward. Bring the hip down. Walk back. And I'm going to walk forward. All right, and do the same thing on the other side. Left leg out. Okay, sit back onto my heel. Back is nice and flat. Toes rotated up. Come forward. And back down. Rotate back up. All right. All the rep ranges and the sets and all that are going to be in a handout. If you're interested, you can send me an email and I can get that out to you. The last one we're going to do is a crossover hip stretch. Back to all fours. I'm going to bring my left leg over my right and push my leg back and sit into my right hip so I can get a nice stretch in the right glute. Hold that for 2 or 3 seconds. Then I'm going to go the other direction. We're just going to go back and forth. All right, so now that our hips are mobilized, we've done the foam rolling, we just finished the mobility exercises, we're going to go on to the actual strengthening exercises. So the first one we're going to do is just a very basic bridge. I'm going to lay on my back. My feet are flat on the ground. Abs are braced, back pressed into the floor. Hands here to make sure my abs are nice and tight. I'm going to tighten up my butt cheeks. I'm going to drive my heels into the floor and drive my hips up. You should feel this all in my butt and in my abs. If you feel it in your hamstrings, it's a good sign that your hamstrings are helping you out too much because your glutes aren't able to do the work as well as they should. All right, so that's the bridge. The next one's going to be the hip abductions. The hip abductions are a good old side-lying leg raise. A lot of people call these the outer thigh. It's actually working the hips, the outside part of the glutes. So I'm going to lay in a straight line. Okay, bracing my abs, I'm going to place my top hand, place it on my butt cheek, make sure I can feel that my glutes are firing. All right, my top leg, I'm going to bring it up a little bit. I'm going to rotate it so that my toe is facing down just a little bit. So my heel's higher than my toe. I'm going to raise the leg up and back just a little bit so I can feel my butt cheek tighten and back down. Keeping your abs braced. Okay, you should feel this right here in the butt. Okay, if you feel it in your back, you may need to readjust your pelvic position by bracing your abs. We're going to do the same thing on the other side as well. Turning around. Right. Laying down, bracing my abs, hand to my glutes, toe down, heel a little higher, bringing my leg up and back just a little bit. All right, that's the hip abduction, okay? The next one are called clamshells. This works the hip external rotators. So I'm going to bring my knees forward a little bit, still bracing my abs. I'm going to keep my hand on my glute. And I'm just going to raise that top leg up just a little bit and back down. The goal is not to try to turn so much that you almost fall back. Keeping your abs braced. Just raising and lowering the leg. All right, and the same thing on the other side. Okay. Braced abs, hand here. Raising and lowering that top leg. All right, after the clamshells, we're going to do a isolated hamstring posterior tilt exercise. For this, I've got a step. All right, I'm going to lay on my back. I'm going to place my feet on top of the step so that I have about a 90-degree angle here at my legs. I'm going to push my heels into the top of the step such that I can get a good tension in my hamstrings. I'm going to brace my abs, press my back into the floor, and I'm going to raise my hips up just a few inches. I'm going to hold that for about 3 to 5 seconds, and I'm going to come back down. Raise up 3 to 5 seconds, come back down. All right? That's the isolateral hamstring exercise, posterior tilt. The next one we're going to do is called a hip adduction. Adduction meaning we're bringing the legs together. So this is the inner thigh. All right, our abs braced, leg straight. I'm bringing the top leg over and putting that leg down. Very similar to the foam rolling position for the IT band for the leg. With this bottom leg now, I'm going to pull the toe up just a little bit. I'm just going to raise and lower the leg. And that's working my inner thigh. All right, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now my right leg is up, bracing my abs, pulling that left toe up. Now we're doing the adductors on the bottom leg, the left leg in this case. All right, the next one we have is hip flexion. All right, I'm going to have you lay on your back. All right, your abs are braced. Very simple to do. You're just going to bring your knee towards your chest, keeping your abs tight, and back down. Very simple exercise. Nothing fancy. All right. Take it nice and slow and controlled. Make sure your abs stay braced the entire time as the hip flexors and the abdominals are kind of working opposition, but they do work together to try to stabilize the spine. So that's what we're trying to do here. All right. The last one is called a single leg vector. This is a balance exercise. So you may see me struggle a little bit with this. I'm going to place some cones out, just to give you something to aim toward. You can throw a magazine down or something else on the ground. It doesn't have to be cones. It could be anything, you know, some tennis balls, whatever. But if you have dogs, they're probably going to want to play with it. So watch out for that if you're doing it at home. All right, from here, we're going to balance on one leg, abs braced. I'm going to reach forward toward the cone, come back, reach out toward the other cone, come back, and I'm coming out to the side. So I've got 3 cones here, forward, one out at an angle, and one directly out to the side. So I'm coming forward, out in front a little bit, to the side, and then directly out to the side. The key is to keep your balance such that your knee stays lined up over your toes, so that when you reach, your knee is not collapsing in. It's staying lined up right over the middle. Boom, boom, boom. All right, you may feel your foot's going to want to pronate and supinate or collapse in and come back out again. Go as far as you can control. And then just move it to the other side, to the other leg. You'll probably notice the difference between the two. Okay, forward, out to the side a little bit, and then directly out to the side. All right, boom. That's our beginner healthy hips protocol. If you have any questions, please drop us a line on the comments below. If you have any other questions about any other videos, check out our YouTube page. And until next time.